It is 6:30. I think now is a fine time to call the meeting to order. Good evening, everybody. My name is Andrew Shepard, Chair of the Planning Board, and I call this meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. I'd like to have a roll call of all the board members present, so please just say your name for the record.
Robert Therian.
Hartley Plushaw, present.
And Andrew Shepard, present. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to thank all of our veterans and those who are currently serving here and abroad, their families, and those who contribute their time to public service. I think we owe them our gratitude. This meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Townsend YouTube channel. And I don't believe I have any additions or deletions to today's agenda. So the first, Robert, do you mind if I look at your agenda real quick? Share with you. Okay, so the first matter of business to review and approve the meeting minutes for April 7th, April 14th, May 13th, May 19th, June 9th, and June 30th. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the dates that have been expressed.
All right.
Second the motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion passes. The minutes have been approved. So we have a 6:40 p.m. for an A&R for 2830 or 30 Bailey Road with Bailey Award. And then Beth, I do believe we can't take that early, can we?
I sure can,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
It's
Yeah. So welcome.
Thank you. My name is Steve Bell. I'm with Bailey Ward.
Hey, Steve.
Hi. I'm representing the Nemours, David and Anne Marie. Their property on Bailey Road. They're subdividing into 2 lots. So the property is comprised of 3 lots, and they're looking to sell. And they wanted to configure it. So right now there's 2 dwellings, 28 and 30. So we wanted to create a conforming lot around 28 and let the remainder go at 30.
So the current lots are where?
So the current, the parcels are broken up.
Mm-hmm.
There was a parcel around this lot that was probably maybe a little less than half. So it wasn't conforming. And rather than worry about grandfathering and all that, they decided they create a conforming lot.
So they combined the 2 lots?
Well, they owned both pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and they were combined under 1 deed, made into 3 different parcels.
Okay.
I believe you look at the assessors, it shows a rectangle around this for one of the parcels, but where they owned it, and this one wasn't conforming, the title merges. So that's the reason for this.
And is there a proposed roadway? Is it a proposed roadway?
No road, just two.
It's just everything remains the same?
Yep.
Just
Yep.
for the division of
Off
the
of Bailey
lots?
Road, right. There's a driveway here for this lot, and then this driveway right up.
Okay.
It goes there.
I read the application. I didn't have any direct questions on it.
Okay.
No, I don't either.
Okay.
Seems like something they should be doing.
Yeah, no objection. Looks okay to me.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So let's see. I'd like to entertain a motion to endorse the A&R plan for 2830 Bailey Road.
I make the motion, we endorse or approve the proposed plan for Bailey Road. What is it? What's the address? 28 to 30 Bailey Road.
Second?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
All right, so now we gotta sign some plans.
Yeah.
Is that Mylar the most?
My whole comes off and you get it for that. All right. Here you go.
There's that one right there.
Yeah. Harley, you need the Amex or the Sharpie on that one, and then.
Is that which line I write?
You know what I'm, anyone.
Okay, thank you.
This is the only one that needs that special permit.
Correct. You give me this, I'll pull it out, I will complete it, sure.
Should have an auto
Okay, Steve.
I don't mind, I just take care of it, yeah. You're very welcome.
Thank you very much. Of course, have a good night. Beth, do you expect Michael Brown?
I do, but now I'm emailing him because I don't see him on and he's wanting to really comfortable, so. Yeah. I didn't keep room with him today, but I did send him the agenda and all the information last week when it's, due, so.
Sure. And we would, just to be clear on it, would be voting to accept these changes to the master plan? Or-
Yeah, so I mean, Carol may want to be here for that, so,
Sure.
we can postpone that.
Okay.
If he doesn't show up,
Yeah, sure.
move that along.
Okay. All right, thank you, fellas.
You're
Feels
most
like
welcome.
we're local celebrities signing all those things sometimes.
Yes, sir.
So the next item on the agenda is 2.2 for 6:45 PM. I believe it's a presentation by Michael Brown of the Townsend Energy Committee regarding the Townsend Master Plan's proposed changes. I do not see him present. We did have in our folders printout of the proposed changes. Here, I didn't. Oh, it looks like you got one right in front of you.
Here, I am, thank you.
Yep. But I do remember Carol having a bit of interest, I think, in this topic and at least the master plan in general. So at least while he's not here, I would, I'd be okay with postponing this until our next meeting. Okay. Let's see, what do we have next? 3.1 would be Townsend MBTA Community Zoning Law Compliance Update. So tomorrow, I think that's probably the best way to talk about what tomorrow is. So tomorrow we have a joint meeting with the Townsend Select Board. I know, I don't expect us to be in full force. Those who are available and willing to attend, oh, this might be Michael, would be welcomed and encouraged. But I believe it's at 6:30.
Hi, here he is.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi.
Michael Brown.
See ya.
Yeah, so let me just finish this right here and then we'll get right to you. But so basically tomorrow we'll be meeting with the select board and we'll be just kind of going on an overview of where we've been at with the MBTA Communities Act. Joseph Boyle, I believe, is expected to be there and he's going to present a brief summary. I don't think it's much more than just making sure that we as a board are keeping up our communication. Certainly publicly from our board meetings, but also kind of engaging with the select board, making sure they're aware and supportive of the process when we get to the town meeting.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I expect to speak a little bit, but I don't expect it to be, doing a full,
An update.
yeah, it's more of an update. But we'd be happy to have you guys.
We need this by fall.
Correct. So, that's
Just to let you know, TCAM scheduled for me to Zoom host the meeting tomorrow night, but I sent them a couple of notices to indicate that I can't Zoom host and participate at the same time.
sure.
So I hope they'll find a replacement for me. But if not, then, don't take my absence as being disrespectful.
Not at all, Harley, not at all. You'll be the man behind the curtain. You'll be,
Kind of literally, yes.
Same is true for me. I'm
Sure.
very tentative schedule.
Sure. I think that's okay, especially making sure that we get this meeting taken care of and the meeting business underway. So I know I will be there to represent the planning board. And if questions come up or, we can go.
I'll try to attend.
Yeah, that's right. So, Mr. Brown,
Yes.
welcome.
Okay.
Welcome.
Sit over
Please,
here, or
please.
what's the best?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I want to give you a brief explanation from my viewpoint of what's going on.
Please.
Okay, so on the Energy Committee, I've actually been on the Energy Committee a long time. I think it's like 11 years, 12 years now. So about several years ago, when one of our members, he was chairman at the time, Brent Carney, he kind of spearheaded an effort to develop a so-called energy master plan. And the concept originally was to have a separate plan focused on energy, kind of how the town would address energy issues.
Sure.
The kind of stuff that we've been dealing with as a committee, but put it into a plan. And he came up with a very well thought out and sort of complex process. And it was going to involve getting input from all different, departments of the town and interest groups and anybody who would be interested in or affected by energy. And over time, it sort of became apparent that it was going to be really hard to get all these different people together and have, a whole series of public meetings and a first draft and a second draft. It was kind of too complicated. So more recently, we just, I don't remember exactly who talked to whom, but the idea was, instead of that, to just make it simple, and we, the Energy Committee, would come up with some ideas on amending the master plan that already exists, which has a number of references to energy. And then, so we could just basically make suggestions essentially on how to incorporate energy better into the current master plan. So Ron Montgomery and I primarily worked on that. Really, Ron came up with the original draft of energy goals. And there were, I don't know, 12 of them originally. And then I sort of took it and distilled it down to fewer, because some of them seem basically saying the same thing. So basically, right as of now, we have 7 energy-related goals. And we went through the master plan a few months ago, maybe sometime last year, and kind of figured out where in the master plan it would make sense to put this. So essentially, which section should we insert the energy goals? And then there were maybe 2 or 3 other places where there was some references to energy, and I did a little wordsmithing. It was really more editorial. So I think fairly recently I sent a copy that would show, that just showed the pages with proposed changes. But the main part is just the list of the 7 energy goals and some follow-up verbiage. And then maybe 2 other places where there's just some suggested edits. So that's the background. I don't know if, you want to go over any of it, or I can explain the goals. I can't,
So, excuse me, you have the goals, but you also redline the master plan, which is why
Right.
I have that available. Okay.
Yeah. So, I think I sent what I actually did was I got the master plan off the town website, which is a PDF document. I converted that to a Word document. Looked like the conversion was done, it was English words and everything. I took the Word document and then, made the changes, the deletions and insertions. So that became the red line. I think a few months ago I sent Beth what I thought was the red line, but I now realize wasn't the red line. It was just a clean version that didn't show the changes. So that caused a lot of confusion, because I think some of the members of the planning board looked at it and said, we don't see the changes. So more recently, I think I successfully sent the red line, but I also sent one that just showed the specific pages as changes. Yeah. So like, for example, I printed out, I brought here the printout of it. So I think it was page 52 of the current master plan is where we were suggesting
The main goals.
Yeah, there's a section, so the header is climate mitigation and energy goals. And then, there's a little bit of introduction, and then there's 7 goals, which pretty much boiled down to, the first 2 are kind of the main methods that we as a town could use to address climate change and reduce emissions of climate warming greenhouse gases. The first being efficiency. So efficiency is what we've been mostly focused on as the Energy Committee. We became a green community. We have applied for several rounds of state grants for energy conservation projects.
I think you had a statistic that something like the town has reduced energy consumption by.
Yeah, I think
10%.
The latest figure is 17%. That's not a spectacular success, but
Sure.
It's good.
Yeah.
The goal under the Green Community Program was 20%. I'm not sure over what period of time.
Sure.
But and there's all kinds of numbers that I can't tell you off the top of my head, but like we've won, I think it's $700,000 in grants. And that money was spent to reduce energy usage. And as a result, now this is all tracked by a state data system. My colleague on the committee, Ron Montgomery,
Is that
more
Ron
familiar
that we have on the screen?
Oh, is Ron, oh, it is Ron, yeah, okay. So he's actually been following it more closely. He has access to the system. So we submit, as a town, we submit annual reports. We get help on preparing those reports from the Montechusett Regional Planning Agency or commission. So once a year, there's a report, and that has all the information on what we've done to reduce energy usage and what so the energy usage of the town is tracked. And according to the statistics of that tracking system, since 2010, or I believe it's 2010, whatever the baseline year is, we've reduced energy by 17%. Now, this is not the whole town. This is the town buildings, the town facilities, as well as schools.
Sure. Town properties.
Yeah, town properties and schools, not including the high school. The high school hasn't been included in this, partly because
I would think that could skew the data pretty quickly.
it's multiple towns. It's not just Townsend, and yeah, I'm not sure if it possibly could be included, but
Fair enough.
in any case, for whatever's included, yeah, that's where the 17% reduction.
Do any of the board members have any questions on what they've read or consumed?
Well, I think we should create a policy and objectives as you've outlined here. I think they're very good. One of the concerns that I encountered personally is that right now the state has introduced a new building code that is pretty overwhelming in terms of energy and performance. And so in terms of policy and what the town's direction should be, I'm totally in favor of it. And thinking beyond the envelope there, I would like more relief from environmentalists to use the natural resources we have, and so that we can have the potential of the town generating its own electricity. It's just an interest of mine, but we have the river here, and we could alter that to generate hydroelectric.
I think they talk about that to a certain extent.
As a general goal, yeah, we
Right.
say, well,
Right.
yeah, we should look at
Right.
possible
But
opportunities
the
to generate.
regulatory structure is so enormous that it's just almost impossible to get any progress in that area. So in terms of, this is my personal posture on this, I'm totally an advocate to do anything we can, particularly with our public buildings. It's in the best interest of taxpayers, pursuing grants and everything else we can, doing studies that we can. So I support all that stuff, and I think that could be incorporated in the master plan as goals and objectives for the community. But I also would like to see some language so that, you see, what a town like Townsend would do is also viewed by other communities. So if we collectively promote a new concept or approach, it expands and it's available to other communities to view and think of. So that's kind of the only thing that I see. I don't see anything wrong with anything here, but I do feel an emptiness here about using the town's own resources here. And so, and then this, what happens, policy here also reflects in bylaws, okay?
Mhm.
So we have zoning bylaws right now for solar farms and all this other stuff, which totally are archaic and need to be updated. And so, anyway, I'm just explaining to you and the community what I see has to be addressed to do that. I have no problem and totally support what you're doing there.
Yeah, everything you said makes
Right.
sense. I mean, obviously, if we wanted to encourage renewable energy sources, for example, it would make sense to make it easier to build them. As far as hydro, that example, I mean, I don't know how realistic it is to have hydro from the Squanicook River. There's also environmental issues with hydro, and you don't want to dam up a river.
Well, I know, and
So, yeah,
that's
it's
some of the
competing.
obstacles. So, you know, it is no perfect answer for anything. There's always a trade-off.
Yes.
And it's a matter of what's most beneficial. But when I look at the Harbor Canal right there, I mean, there's a obvious opportunity just sitting there to generate some hydroelectric facilities without any big complex industrial plant.
Robert, I will share, I did work a little, or have been working with the Historical Society and procured a turbine, at least if not educational for them, but my understanding working with them was that to generate electric power that will go into the grid, you need federal approval from, I think it's FERC. And my understanding is that the regulatory approval process to do that is like a well beyond the scope of the Townsend Master Plan and even state.
I know, that's part of the problem here, is that the towns themselves can't physically do anything to improve their own situation other than rely on grants and regulation.
Right. I know there was, a number of years ago, a look at the potential for a lot more solar and like using landfill in a lot of places. And I think the issue was that it's too far from the appropriate transmission lines. Like the transmission lines near the landfill wouldn't be acceptable. So it was maybe now it could be revisited.
From my perspective, I'm more inclined to have individuals, so energy generating things rather
And people are,
in determining a specific district or wiping out vegetation to put a solar plant and then.
Oh, yeah, well, I actually, the state, I'm very little familiar with this because, about a year ago, there was a meeting of the state about this topic of some kind of state plan that is being developed for what are the suitable places in Massachusetts to develop solar. And that's certainly a concept that, we don't want to chop down forests, to make solar. So,
So I guess.
but landfills, theoretically should be a good surface, a closed landfill,
Right.
capped and everything.
The other, so I think in terms of policy, anything that we can do as far as conserving energy, improving our municipal buildings to, reduce energy consumption. It's such in my field, I see a lot of this all the time. And so, for example,
Robert, I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to, if Hartley has any thoughts.
I'm sorry. I think I've said everything.
Okay, thank you both. If I can just pick up on what my colleague was talking about, I'm totally with him on this. I think that a lot of people in various areas, be it energy, agriculture, so many other things, would like to see us become much more locally oriented, and to be able to be close to the people, literally close to the people, geographically close to the people that are, pulling the switches and flicking the switches. And in that regard, this may not be germane to discussion. If it isn't, it isn't. But since this opportunity arose, I was thinking as we were discussing this, what about the idea, the concept of a town electric company similar to what Groton has? Because it sounds like that's been a good arrangement. I don't hear too many people in Groton complaining about it, whereas I hear a lot of people in Townsend complaining about Unitil.
Mm.
And it may not be strictly what we're talking about here today, and if it isn't, but in terms of the overall goal of energy conservation and improving the environment, somehow the idea that we would be closer to the people that are involved in these things than rather a company that, may have a local office somewhere in Worcester, or their corporate office might be somewhere in Kansas City, or the corporate office might be somewhere in Bangkok. The idea of, keeping things as close to the local community as possible, I think is a very positive thing. So anyway, I just thought I would mention that.
Yeah, I don't know the answer. I agree. I know that, I believe it's the case that costs are lower in the towns that have municipal electric utilities.
Right.
I don't know what it takes to go from where we are now,
Well,
to where to that.
one of the approaches might be in these policies to support individual homeowner power generation initiatives. I think, because as Hartley is saying, we're at the mercy of Unitil, which is a corporation, and our Unitil bills are not based on energy consumption so much as distribution fees and supply fees and things like that. So exploring, or at least being open to other approaches that could help our people, because right now everybody's here at the mercy of a utility company, and we have no voice in it at all. And so again, I think in terms of the public at large, and if you look what's going on with people putting solar systems on their roofs and everything, they're all trying to be self-sufficient and off the grid, if you really look at what's happening. So policies like the ones you proposed, and maybe some of those, they can be very general and vague, would at least tell the community we're very concerned about it.
Sure. I think we have a lot of consensus. I think we all agree with what you presented, and support the effort and the overarching goals. Before you came in, I know Carol, one of the other members who can't be here tonight, I believe she's particularly interested in this, but I do think we have a majority of the board, and I'm willing to entertain a motion to accept the master plan changes. I think that you didn't write out a motion specific language, did you?
I did not.
Okay.
Do you mind if I ask one question, Mr.
Sure.
Under number 7, you basically crossed out, you struck through a whole section there that says, was just what Mr. Therian was talking about. Tackling the issue of how towns can help reverse climate change is a complex issue. Utilities are a major contributor to climate change, but are an essential part of everyday living. Currently, the only provider approved for both electric and natural gas is Unitil. Discussions about finding alternative companies occur frequently, but it appears that the process would be costly and time-consuming, with possibly not a positive outcome. Alternatively, towns can look towards natural resources for its energy source. And could you just explain why you crossed that out entirely?
I was probably thinking that what we put in would have replaced that, but maybe not specifically. We didn't. Our 7 goals as listed here don't really get into the issue of who the utility would be. So I would say, if you wanted to put it back, it wouldn't contradict the other concepts or anything. It seemed very general, and from an editorial viewpoint, I looked at that and thought, well, it's not very specific, and I'm not sure what it is. But that's up to you guys.
I think
but you're right. It is what you mentioned.
I think that really does kind of get pretty close to what we've been talking about.
Right. Can you expand on this climate adaptation stuff?
Is that something that was already in the plan or
I
something
think
that?
it was,
I
but
mean,
it's crossed off.
Climate adaptation
It's
plan.
like page 2 of the red line.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that was purely an editorial. So I just moved the heading, climate adaptation plan, that was already in your master plan.
Just relocated.
I relocated it, yeah, because it seemed like that first paragraph wasn't related to climate adaptation. So I added a new header, habitat and open space, because that seemed to be what that paragraph was about. Yeah, that's all that is.
All right, well, I think everything, I'm supportive of what's happening here.
Definitely the most efficient way to approve this would be to request it with that section added, or make a motion that says, you know, it's accepted with section 7 strike through reiterated, or I'm not sure how that phrasing would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll try to craft.
Just to clarify, so I would say that paragraph that was crossed out after number 7,
Right.
I don't think it wouldn't be part of number 7. It would be like just
Sure.
a continued
paragraph.
discussion after the 7 goals, you know.
Yeah.
It would be like the first paragraph after the goals, I guess.
So how's this? I'll attempt to say the motion, and then one of you guys can say so moved.
Yes.
Would accept the motion to approve the, let me make sure I get it right. The Townsend Energy Committee's proposed changes to the Townsend Master Plan with the condition of, page 4 of the red line version, after item 7, removing the strike through and making that a separate paragraph.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, there you have it. Approved.
Good work.
Yes. Thank you. Really, it was Ron Montgomery probably did the lion's share. I was like the editorial.
Takes a team.
All right, any other questions?
I think not at this time. We'll ask Carol if she has any.
Okay.
And they will direct them to you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. So that brings us back now to 3.2, which is to review the agreement with the MRPC, the site plan contract, I believe. So Beth, I know this has gone back and forth a few times. It looks like this version is now all signed?
Yep.
Okay.
And, it's been reviewed the last meeting. Joe Royal had we had some changes, adjusted the timeline. The scope is pretty much the same, but, just clarified with the scope and timeline, task numbers. And the first task has been done, pretty much did that at the last meeting.
The kickoff meeting. You guys have any thoughts or questions? I got a copy right here.
I'm really not familiar with any of that.
Okay. I think ultimately it's to remove the, it's MRPC, if I can phrase this correctly, removing the site plan review special permit process and then adding a site plan review non-discretionary process that will work for was intended to work for the ADU law and the multifamily overlay district.
I agree, maybe put that, yeah.
Yeah, and then, change some language
Right.
and the format and kind of remove it
Okay.
as it's been intermingled in the other
I
bylaws.
suppose that.
Okay, so we're done with 3.2. 3.3 is the administrative update and reports.
Yeah, not too much. I just wanted to get excused absence for the next meeting. I have my cert exam.
Tomorrow or?
On the 28th, so July 28th, I'm going to be taking my exam for the citizen emergency response training.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, it's been a long. So that's on the 28th, but I will have the meeting set up for you guys to run.
Sure.
Good luck.
We do have a new assistant town clerk. His name is Jack. Different last name, I apologize. Our former assistant town clerk is now working in the water department. So that's changed. That's kind of it for now. We're rolling.
Thank you, Ben. All right, and then 3.4, announcements, communications. And Hartley, what do you got for us?
What have I got for you? Okay. First of all, under legal advertisement, this is from the Town of Shirley Zoning Board of Appeals. The Town of Shirley Zoning Board of Appeals will conduct a public hearing at 7 p.m. on Monday, August 4th, 2025 at the Town Office Building, 7 Keady Way, Shirley, Massachusetts. Applications submitted by Michael Swanton to Daniel Drive, Shirley, Mass. Public hearing for a variance per section 3.2.2 C4 of the protected zoning bylaws relating to minimum rear yard setback 50 feet for the construction of a 16 by 24 shed. The parcel is located at 2 Daniel Drive, Shirley, Massachusetts, parcel ID 115A 3.4 in the R1 district. A copy of this application can be obtained from the town clerk, Kevin Kelly, chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Also from the Town of Shirley, legal advertisement, the Town of Shirley Zoning Board of Appeals will conduct a public hearing at 7 p.m. on Monday, August 4th, 2025, at the Town Office Building, 7 Keady Way, Shirley, Massachusetts. Application submitted by Peter E. Knox, trustee of the Castle Trust, care of Kyle J. Croto, 21 Park Street, Air, Massachusetts. A public hearing for section 2.4.3 and 9.2.3 of the protective zoning bylaws for the change or alteration of a pre-existing non-conforming structure on a pre-existing non-conforming lot in a variance per section 2.4.3 and 9.2.4 of the protective zoning bylaws to allow for the removal of an existing mobile home of approximately 590 square feet with the replacement of a new mobile home of approximately 1,067 square feet. The parcel is located at 83 Front Street, Shirley, Massachusetts, parcel ID 23C10 in the Shirley Village Business District. A copy of this application can be obtained from the town clerk, Kevin Kelly, chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals. From the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs, this was sent to Beth. Dear Ms. Faxon, Open Space and Recreation Plan. Dear Ms. Faxon, thank you for submitting the Open Space and Recreation Plan for Townsend to this office for review and compliance with the current Open Space and Recreation Plan requirements. I am pleased to write that the plan has received final approval and the town is eligible to apply for DCS grants through May 2034. Please contact me if you have any questions or concerns. Sincerely, Melissa Cryan, Grant Program Supervisor. The Town of Ashby, notice of decision special permit, Old Northfield Road Map 15, Parcel 9, hearing date 6/25/2025. Decision of the board is to approve the special permit with conditions for a reduced frontage lot at Map 15, Parcel 9. The decision was filed with the town clerk on June 30th, 2025. The complete decision to file the decision is on file with the town clerk and is available during normal business hours. Right to appeal. It's mentioned after that. I was going to go into that. So this is is this the same thing I read earlier? Yes, July 7th for the letter to Beth from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. And finally, from us here at the Planning Board of Townsend, Massachusetts, the Townsend Planning Board is currently accepting volunteer response forms for the following: one planning board member to serve for 1 year until the next annual town election, April 27th, 2026, with an option at that time to file nomination papers to run for an elected position on the board. The planning board is responsible for hearing and approving subdivision site plan review, approval not required, A&R lots, and applications under the Scenic Roads Act. The board also serves as the stormwater authority, oversees updating the town's master plan, and makes decisions and recommendations required by the town zoning bylaws and the state zoning act regarding zoning amendments and rezoning petitions. The planning board meets in person at Memorial Hall, augmented with TCAM hosted Zoom meetings at 6:30 PM, usually the second and fourth Mondays of the month, or may schedule an additional meeting if needed. Volunteer response forms are available online at www.townsendma.gov, TOWNSENDMA.gov. Click on the Jobs and Volunteering button. All interested parties are encouraged to apply by completing a form and submitting it online or to the Townsend Select Board. We welcome adults age 18 and over from all backgrounds to join this dynamic and exciting board. Training is available, and we encourage everyone to apply. Thank you, and those are that's what I have for you this week.
Thank you, Harley.
Harley, there was a part of me that I thought I was gonna get a sign off, like thank you and good night. That's all, folks.
Good job, Beth, on that
Well, thank you.
open space.
Carol will be very pleased.
Right.
She already knows, but yeah, it would be nice to have some sort of, select board presentation, because these maps here, I brought them with tonight, were generated by MRPC, and they have an action plan, a map of each, kind of action plan, and,
Wow.
some, so if you wanna look them over. Anyway, and the plan itself, I'll print out a copy and maybe we can have the select board.
Excellent. All right. Thank you. On top of Hartley's last announcement, for those listening, we are the best board, I personally feel, the best board in all of the town. And certainly welcome those interested in joining. We do have a number of openings, and I think we have some fun and do a lot of interesting things. On that note, does anyone have any thoughts or comments or anything else? No? All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I still
Second the motion?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, there you have it, 7:18 PM.